back here with another episode of Inside the 48. Today we are here with
Cody McCullough.
What got you into filmmaking?
Well, I've wanted to work in film since, as long as I can remember when I was a kid. It was always my choice form of escapism and things like that. It was a way to have fun. I always watched like Lord of the Rings and things like that. So I was always like going on an adventure, which is pretty dope. And pretty much ever since then, wrote stories in elementary school, middle school, high school, and got my first camera, which was like a $100 Sony when I was like 14, which I carried around with me everywhere.
Was that like mini DVs?
No, I mean it was just
like what kind of medium was it? Did you have to put a tape in there? Or was it? Like
no, it was a card.
Yeah.
It was, I forget what it was called, but it had a horrible picture. At that point, I didn't understand sound enough to do anything like that. But I'd make like mock commercials or film like a fake fight scene with my brother where we're using like wrapping paper and then add like sound effects. That was always funny. But I mean, ever since then it's pretty much been going uphill, learning as much as I can and trying to improve upon all that stuff.
So what do you primarily like to do? Are you to film, to direct, to write, to edit? What do you do all of the above?
I mean, I do all of the above. I think I enjoy all of them. Most of the time, I work with cameras. So, Roger Deakins is like my hero.
Okay.
I still write. I direct my own stuff too. But primarily, it's all about cameras. The visuals are always interesting. That's one of the number one things that attracts me to a movie. It can kill a movie or make a movie.
Right.
But that's the primary thing. Still like telling stories, but yeah.
How many 48s have you done?
I think I started in 2016. I think I've done 7 or 8 of them.
Good.
I think I've been team leader for about 3 or 4 of those, and pretty much camera operator or sound engineer for a lot of the other ones.
Were they your team, or somebody else set a team and you were just like the camera?
The first one I did, I went to the Hood School of Acting for a while, and met a lot of actors and people there that I work with. And someone invited me to be the cameraman on their thing, and it was Touching Parallels by Suffering Spinach. And like the main core people there, like we built a creative relationship, so there's like the 3 of us were pretty much a team for every single 48 after that. And
I know Chris and Emily that go there.
Yeah, they're both great. Yeah, they're really talented. I worked with Arena and Nelson Aviles. That was my squad, and then we'd work with pretty much everybody else. There's pretty good dynamic there. Like Arena was always the thoughtful, like really open-minded, creative type, and I'd be like, you know what, well, we can't really do that in 48 hours, and we got to do this, and, try and keep on schedule. And Nelson was, always there to, co-direct and things like that, and co-write the script, so that was awesome.
So for the 48s, did you physically edit them then, or did you have another editor?
Oh, yeah, I would edit some of them. Arena edited. So we'd kind of flop, because the way we'd do it was we picked it up along the way. Would be like on Saturday we'd start shooting, and we'd shoot like half of it, and then we'd give the footage to whoever was editing, and they'd start editing it while we shot the rest of the film. So that way we could do it on time, and everything was, going bam, bam, bam. And it was faster that way, and we seemed to trust each other on editing it and shooting it. So.
Did you have somebody that would score stuff for you, or did you just pick like stock footage and just kind of put?
Oh, we'd find something online, like free stuff or just basically looking on royalty-free music.
Oh, there's plenty of that out there. Yeah, so it's pretty straightforward there. As far, have you guys won any awards for any of your 48s?
Not so far. No. I mean, at least for us, I don't think, or me personally, it's more about.
I mean, as the team, like maybe somebody was nominated for best actor.
No,
best
not
use of prop, that kind of stuff.
Not that. But I mean, I don't think it's really about like the award.
You just do it to have fun.
Yeah, the 48's it's a different animal than anything else. So it's rough, but it's pretty entertaining.
I think it's good training because if you can do a good product in 48 hours, then when you take your time and do a full feature or a short, you have that much more experience of time management. You know what I mean?
Like some of the short films or feature that I'm working on, that it's kind of the skills translate, like Gorilla from the 48 and stuff like that, and you have to learn on the fly. So when mistakes get made, or like people don't show up, or like locations fall apart, you kind of roll with it like you would have to in the 48, and you got to think quick on your feet. So it's very useful to learn that.
Have you ever turned a film in late?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Just once?
Just once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How late were you?
I think it was at like midnight.
Oh, that late?
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah.
So they showed it first.
Yeah, well, the problem with that one is, I was actually really proud of how it looked. The actors' performances were phenomenal. It was just that whoever was working the audio made a mistake. We were using a Zoom audio recorder, and has a little function that if you hold down like the power button for too long, it wipes the card.
Oh.
So, like everything we recorded on Saturday, the sound was wiped. So we shot some stuff on Sunday morning, and we had the audio for that, but everything else was camera audio, which, isn't very great. So we tried to work around that and try to do stuff, but it looks great, and, I think it turned out pretty good for, the things that happened.
Did you try to do ADR, or did you just try to make that audio just work from the camera?
It was like, so we tried to do some other stuff afterwards to, like, Foley and things like that. But it kind of just time crunch. We couldn't really do anything about it. And even though we turned it in late, it was just, I mean, if we had more time, but it's the 48, so you do what you can do. And yeah. I mean,
have you ever had a really, really bad experience on the 48 where it's just like nothing worked? It was just a bomb. And you're like, oh, I don't even want to show this one.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, that happened. One of the last times, it was basically, like, people didn't show up. That was the big thing. One of our leads, like, didn't show up, and, we didn't really learn about it until Saturday. So we had to rewrite the script on the fly, and because the plan was start shooting at 10 a.m. And everyone be on set at 9, go from there, be done shooting at like 8 p.m., start editing it. But
so that's your structure? You always do like 10 a.m., try to be done by 8?
Yeah.
Okay. You break for lunch, or you guys just kind of plow through lunch?
I mean, it's more of a like quick snack break. I mean, that's the structure that we go for, but it almost never goes that way. But on
what about writing it? Do you try to have it done by like midnight or something, and then email it to everybody, or what do you do for that?
Sometimes, yeah, that's one of the goals. But as long as the script gets done by morning and sent out to everybody by like 6 in the morning, then then we're good, because it's done for the next day of shooting, and we can get by that way. But we try to make it a good script, so, and we can try and put something together in a couple hours, but a lot of times it's like how when people co-write, there's a lot of like, I don't know, like disagreements and things.
Yeah,
so it takes.
That's not how I saw it. This is how I saw it. Right?
So
heads button.
Oh yeah. So
as Misha said in the very first interview that I did with this, it's the best time you'll have being completely miserable.
that is an excellent way to put it.
That's what he said.
Yeah. That's about it. Yeah. I mean, it's rough. Like, I've had to stay up. One of them I stayed up for 36 hours straight. My first one I stayed up for like 20 hours straight because I didn't understand like the whole structure of it, but it was fun. But,
of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Learning experience, and you realize this didn't work.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you realized that didn't work? Like, from the past that you could give advice to people and say, don't ever do this, because this is totally a bad idea.
One of the main things is don't try anything you haven't tried before, because the 48 is not the time to learn how to do a particular shot or do something else. Try to have a set schedule and try your best to stick to it. One of them I worked on, a big thing is we were trying to get a shot that was like 4 seconds in the final product, and we were working on it for like 45 minutes to an hour, and we had to say like, all right, fuck it, like let's move on. It's not worth it. But don't do that. Try and work with reliable people, equally passionate people. That's a big one. Even if it's someone that's never done a 48 before, if they're passionate about film or passionate about acting, storytelling, those are the people you want on your team. So the people that'll give 110% every time, and usually that's the best experience you can have.
What's your favorite 48 you've done, like the one you're most proud of? And why?
I'd say it's one of we had one called La Femme Nix. We got like espionage or spy or something like that, and I mean it was a weird experience. It turned out better than I thought it was going to be. Some of the stuff was crazy or kind of a disaster, but also not. Like our first location was at a restaurant, and we started shooting there in the morning, like outside, and some guy walked up to us and was like, what are you guys doing? And I was like, hey, we got permission from the owner to shoot here because I was told we did. And the guy just looks at me and he's like, I'm the owner and I never gave you permission. And I was just like, oh shit. But were
you just making that up, or did you really?
No, someone told me we had permission. One of the baristas or something must have said something. But he was super cool.
He let you do it?
He was like, hey, you guys want to shoot inside? And it was just like, yeah. And it was open. There were open hours. People were in there. We'd say quiet on set, and everybody was quiet.
Wow.
And then he gave us like a discount on food afterwards. He was super cool about it. We shot at this observatory up in Cleveland that's abandoned. And on Saturday night, me and one of the actors went up there to like look at it more, to like understand, all right, we're going to do this, and it was like pitch black, and we didn't expect it to be, and there were no lights because it was abandoned. And we started walking in, and my buddy's like, hey, my phone's about to die. I was like, okay, I've got a flashlight. And he's like, hey, you got to go first. And I was like, why do I have to go first? And he's like, minorities always die first. And I was like, okay, I see your point. Okay. And we just started walking through it. We went to the basement, started hearing noises and like clatter. And we like booked it out of there. The most masculine way possible, obviously.
So like when you walk through a spider web and you're all of a sudden a kung fu master?
Yeah. And we went there in the morning when it was light, and we kind of like understood like there were homeless people in here.
Oh,
and
that's what it was.
Yeah. It was like I felt kind of bad, but at the same time I was like, okay, we're safe, we're good. That happened, but that was when we turned in like 10 minutes before the deadline. But I thought it turned out pretty good. For 48, we had some great performances from the actors. So.
What was the genre of that one?
It was like espionage or spy or
That's
something like that. Yeah, so that was fun.
Cool. How about, is there a genre that you've always wanted to pick that you never got?
Yeah. I've always been a fan of like, hard-boiled detective crime dramas. Mm-hmm. So I've never gotten like crime or detective or noir or anything like that. And I mean, that would be awesome. I'd love to do that. Do some sort of murder mystery or something like that. I think that would be cool.
Which one do you dread picking?
Dread. We got fantasy one year, and it's like, I love fantasy stuff, but it was just so hard to think of an idea that we could do when none of us were like good at actor effects. We didn't have like any props like plans to use, and our locations that we set up were like an Airbnb and a restaurant. It's like, how do we do this? And I mean, we ended up doing like some modern day Greek god kind of thing, which was alright, but it was tough. Real tough.
Have you had trouble finding a prop ever to make it, work in your story?
I don't think we have.
Because you said you hand out your script by like 6 a.m., so it doesn't give them a lot of time to go, find this prop or find this.
Oh, normally when we do that, it's like either me or like the writer or something else that we run and get it. Like basically, Friday night. So we try to get that down.
Okay.
That's one of the first things we have to get.
It's tougher now because like the kickoff's at 7, and you get to start at 7:30, and then it will be like Walmart closes at 8:30. So you know what I mean? Now because of COVID.
Yeah.
So you don't know like
that just makes it even more difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you gotta wait till like 7 or 8 in the morning for them to open back up to actually go there. And I mean, cause a lot of people were saying, "Yeah, I just go to Walmart." Well, you don't have the luxury of doing that 24 hours a day now.
Yes. Yeah.
Have you had a chance to film during COVID?
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't have to be a 48, but I'm just saying, like in general, what's different about it for you?
Well, what's different for COVID? There's a lot more precautions now, and everybody's safer or trying to be safer. Which, I mean, it's good, try and help everybody. But it's hard to get people on set. Like, we had one day, a guy, like one of the actors in the scene, said, like, he was coughing and he felt sick. And we had to, like, shut it down. Like, hey, we can't do it today. Nope. And we had to schedule for another day. Eventually it worked out. But, things like that, which normally when, you don't have a pandemic, you can kind of just work around.
People doing temperatures and then hand sanitizers and whatnot.
Oh yeah, yep. Wearing masks when you're not, actually on screen.
Right.
Yeah. It's, it's difficult, but it's, you got to learn to deal with it.
Sure. What about movie theaters? Have you been to the theater since we're allowed to go back to theaters now?
I've been to the theater a few times. Bill and Ted, obviously.
How was your experience in the theater compared to a year ago?
It's weird because there's like nobody there at all, and everybody, if you go there, everybody's sitting so far away, and it seems like people are quiet or like not like really enjoying it, or at least from my experience. But I mean, it's always good to have like a riotous crowd when you're going to see a movie. Everybody enjoys it together, which you can't really do anymore. So, I mean, hopefully, and within the next few months.
I think we've been saying that for the last few months.
Yeah.
Maybe next month.
Yeah.
We'll see. Probably next year, honestly. Yeah. If you could change one thing about the 48, what would you change? Like if I could show this to Mark and say, hey, you know what, you should do this. I think it would make it cooler.
I mean, 48 is pretty cool as it is, but if you want to do, I'd say, maybe if you added like, I don't know, like 30 seconds of a score or something like that. It was like
a specific score that had to be in everybody's.
Yeah. I mean, it might, kind of change the tone of some films, but it would be, funny, and you could make it funny. You could make it fun to do.
Mm-hmm.
Music is always a big part of filmmaking. So
instead of like a line of dialogue, have like a piece of music that had to be in your film somewhere.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that would be cool. It's something different.
Mm-hmm.
The structure of the 48's already pretty good so far,
Mm-hmm.
or at least my experience. Pretty much only adding something maybe to make it more difficult. That might be fun, but yeah, I think it's pretty great the way it is.
Yeah, somebody said that if you win so many times, you can't do it anymore. Like, that team is banned. They keep winning.
Yeah.
Somebody told me that.
Yeah. That would make things easier, but at the same time, you'd lose out on seeing some good projects.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Or like a basketball draft, where it's like, okay, these 5 people can't be together anymore. They have to split up to other teams.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be hard, but
It'd be challenging. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh well.
What do you have currently that you're working on? You want to plug any projects or stuff that's up and coming that maybe you want to plug?
I'd say right now, working on Slow Mutants' production of their feature, Hell Van, which is pretty awesome. We got
We're in the bathroom here. The makeshift bathroom.
Yeah, we've been putting a lot of work on that. Just had like trained Rottweilers last weekend. We had the Ohio burn unit and set some people on fire, which was awesome. It's always been a fun experience, at least there.
I'll be dying right where you're sitting tonight.
Yeah, that'll be awesome to shoot.
On the toilet.
Yeah.
How would we get a hold of you on social media? Like, do you have Instagram, Facebook?
You could reach
YouTube?
me on my Facebook, Cody McCullough. My Instagram, which is Cody McCullough, an underscore, or my website, which is just codyjmccullough.com. Any of that, you can reach me.
Perfect. All right. Well, I appreciate you coming out.
Thank you, man. Yeah.